Hey, Dr. J here. We are going to discuss your brain-gut connection and how it's related to stress, okay? So, your brain is your central nervous system, okay? Your brain and your spinal cord central, and then it has an autonomic or automatic, just so you understand it better, nervous system, which means your heart beats. You don't have to tell it to beat. Your lungs breathe because they breathe. You don't have to tell it. That's part of your autonomic nervous system, automatic. And then inside of that is two systems called sympathetic and parasympathetic. All right? And so sympathetic is your fight or flight response, okay? And parasympathetic would be your rest response, digest response, okay? So what does that have to do with your gut? Your brain is your brain, okay? But you know what? They call this other nervous system an enteric nervous system, your intestinal nervous system. They call that one the second brain, and your brain and spinal cord, your first brain, okay? Interesting that they're calling it that. So that's notable. Okay, so now your brain takes in information and it goes down certain pathways. Which pathway does it need to go down? Only going to be taking in stress for this video, okay? So we got stress coming in. So what does that look like? Fear, anxiety, and stress. You're edgy, you want to, okay, I got to save my life. I got to work hard today. I got to do this or that or the other thing. And I got lists going a mile long, okay? But stress is things that cause you to be in fear and be anxious. Stress, okay? So when that information's coming into you, your body is brilliant, okay? God designed you to have power, love, and a sound mind. Your mind, the things you, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You have the power to live in peace and rest and joy. You've got to start taking your thoughts captive and break them open and throw them on the floor if they're bad, because you have to move into the love and the joy and the peace in your thinking, because it's going to affect your gut. I'm going to get to it in a minute, but I want to bring hope to you and empower you that as you think, so are you. So we want to operate from love and joy and peace, and we want to have power and to take every thought captive, and that we have the mind of Jesus Christ. That's the goal anyway. Okay, so you're bringing this stuff in, you're thinking, so how would we control that? Okay, so what's your mind staying on? I keep them in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on him. So if we keep putting our mind on the things that are good and lovely and of good report, then we're going to rest. But if we decide we're going to listen to a video or the things that cause us to be anxious, if we're going to listen to the media, God help us all the media, I don't care where your media is coming from, it is usually fear-based, okay? I'm not saying that we can't listen to it and it's not important to hear and get facts, but the point is that it can tend to ramp us up so we're stressed out. So what do I do? Okay, so I, over years, have learned how to bounce out of anger, because I used to be a very angry person. And now I like to consider myself very passionate and compassionate, and to reflect and release love and peace to those that are around me. That's what I want to be known for. I don't want to be known as the flipped out girl who's always angry and stressed out. Okay, so all of that to say is here we have this beautiful first brain and the second brain, which is our gut. Okay, and that gut is responding to every thought that comes in. Okay, so we want to shift how our bodies are responding. So the things that stress does, it increases our cortisol load. Our cortisol, the end product, is glucose. Glucose, over time, will lay down abdominal belly fat. Belly fat, deep belly fat, visceral fat in your gut will cause you to be sick. It is the hotbed for inflammation. You know, when you get stressed, sometimes it gives you butterflies in your stomach. It causes you to have diarrhea really bad, or constipation. It sets you up for irritable bowel syndrome, all kinds of diseases of the gut. It it kills off your good bacteria. 72 hours of stress, either perceived or physical, if you don't recover, will kill off the good bacteria in your gut, okay? And then eventually it's what it ends up leading to is that leaky gut that we talked about. So how do we shore that up, okay? So if that's what's going to happen, your probiotics get used up, your B12 gets used up, your B vitamins, 1, 3, 5, 6, all your B vitamins go when you're under stress. Okay, and then over time, if you're going to have irritable bowel and leaky gut, it ends up leading to some, not all, autoimmune disorders in the body, because you get an off balance of cytokines in your gut, and it begins to destroy your immune system, and it takes you longer and longer and longer to recover. Also, it sets up cardiovascular disease because the endothelial lining, not only in your stomach, but in your cardiovascular system, begins to not function the way it was designed to. And then you get blockages, arteriosclerosis, heart attacks, strokes, that kind of thing. We're moving through our stress. We're operating with too much sympathetic nervous system. So too much sympathetic, so we're in our automatic sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system is out of balance. It's just hammering you, going over and over and over and over. Okay, so Hans Selye came up with general adaptation syndrome back in the 50s or 30s. Anyway, he broke it into 3 parts. This stress relation. Alarm phase, which is fight or flight. We're all supposed to, we go through stuff, we balance out. We go through stuff, we balance out, and we rest and digest. But over time, if we don't balance out and we just keep rolling in stress, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is we move into what they call the resistance phase, which is where long-term chronic inflammation just stays on. It's kind of like flushing your toilet and trying to flush it again and flush it again just within a minute. It's not restoring itself. So resistance phase. And once resistance can't take it anymore, it goes into exhaustion phase, boom, and sickness and disease becomes stronger and stronger in your body. And so we have the ability to shut off that chronic long-term stress. Everybody asks me, well, how long is it going to take? Okay, like you could end up with depression, mental illnesses, bowel problems, cardiovascular disease, acne, fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome, confusion. Let's see, hormones. That's a different story. Hormones and stress get all wigged out because of stress dominating you, okay? That's a different topic. All of this is, but just those are some of the symptoms that happen with stress, either perceived mental stress or physical stress, just from, working all day, and those habits that we get into. So we want to back the system out, okay? So how long is that going to take, like I just asked? So I always say 1 month for every year of your life. Everybody wants the Red Bull approach, give me a pill, do something, but it's a process to back out of where you got yourself, okay? So we do it one great habit forming opportunity at a time, okay? So when I coach somebody, and if I'm coaching them for 6 months, by the end of 6 months, I have you in some good habits, new habits that are breathing life into you, whether they're from the spiritual side of things, whether they're from how you think, your mind, will, and emotions, which is your soul, or are we doing it from a cellular level in your body? What are we doing to the body to promote health? Because all 3 matter. They all matter. Okay, so cortisol, you're in exhaustion phase, you have sickness and disease. What are we going to do to shift the system? That's the whole key, all right? So the things that I've talked about are your thinking, How are you thinking? Are you entertaining the same thought over and over and over again? So we have to put in place some new ways to think. Okay, we got to get that moving. Like what works for you isn't the same as what works for me, because no two of us are alike. Then we have to look at you cellularly. We have to do blood work panels to see where you're at, to see what we need to actually improve on in your body, happening right now, present time blood work right now. And just what your habits are, like how are you eating, what can we change there, how's your exercise, what are you thinking on. So then I go into, okay, how are we going to think, and then and spiritually, what you're doing spiritually. Very, very important, all three, very important. But for all intensive purposes, we're going to just talk about the body here, because that's why most everybody comes to me. So you've hit exhaustion, you're sick. Okay, so what kind of adaptogenic and Ayurvedic herbs can I take to help? Okay, so we have ashwagandha, we have rhodiola rosa, beautiful, beautiful herb, B vitamins. Everybody should be on a multivitamin and a multi-mineral supplement and a B complex every single day. That's just the basics. Not to mention what we've talked about leaky gut and probiotics and prebiotics and fiber. So how are you going to nurture yourself cellularly so that we can reverse what's happening to you and you can have a rejuvenation, and you can soar again and you can feel good about yourself. It takes time, but you can do it. You totally can do it. So we want to shut off the brain-gut axis that's hurting us, and we want to nurture the brain-gut axis so that it's working for us and in our favor, and we're the boss. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So what are we thinking about, right? And so you have the ability to turn it off, like right this second even. I mean, I could ask you just to sit here and laugh. You could just laugh at yourself for starters. That's the first thing. Oh my gosh, Johnette wigged out again, help me. And so instead of just going to your comfort foods that lay down abdominal fat, we have to now back it out. And how are we going to do that? You can do it. We can both raise the standard of health within your body. That's what you're looking at and you're watching the video for. Okay, that's what you're watching the video for me to give you some ideas, okay? So laughter induces endorphins and enkephalins, and they are the feel-good painkillers in the body. And so they're beautiful, so why not use them? And I know I've taught so many classes on stress relief, you can't even believe it. So I make everybody sit and laugh. It's crazy, I know. But when you get the deep belly roll going, that's when you're into it, and you're releasing those endorphins and enkephalins. Anyway, so the idea is to raise the standard of health in your body. You have any questions, just ask me, just type them in below. Be sure to click on subscribe and then click on the bell to get reminders when my videos pop up. And just bless you. Thanks for sharing this with everyone, and thanks for watching. Okay? Bless you. Have a great day.